So following on from the previous video, we got to this stage here where we were trying to integrate this, and by using trigonometric substitution, we got to this stage here. So this thing here is the same as this thing here. So now we need to make the adjustment, because on the left hand side we are integrating with respect to x, meaning x moves from 0 all the way to here. But then after making this substitution, we are now living in the theta world. So we need to make the appropriate adjustments here and here. Okay, so now we need to make the appropriate adjustments here and here. So on the left hand side, we are integrating with respect to x. So x is moving from 0 to here. So on the left hand side, we are living in the x world. After we've made this substitution here, we are then living in the theta world. So we need to make the adjustment. We need to know what this thing must be and what this thing must be. So now looking at the substitution, looking at the substitution on the left hand side, remember we are integrating. X is moving from 0 to here. So let's try and tackle this bit. Let's try and translate this. Okay, so we are now trying to translate this. So looking at our substitution, 3 over 2 tan theta equals, well, remember we are integrating from 0 to here. So let's just look at 0 first, and then later on we will look at this. So now times both sides by 2, so that will then give you this. Divide both sides by 3, that will then give you this. So now we want to know theta, because we are living over here, we are living in the theta world, so we need to know what this thing is. So to know what theta is, you would inverse tan equally to both sides. So theta would be, inverse tan of 0 would be 0. So this thing translates to 0. Okay, so 0 in the x world, 0 translate after making our translation, our substitution. This thing here is still 0. Okay, so this thing here will be 0. Now let's look at this thing. So remember, we are we are integrating in. So x is from 0 to here. We've just done the 0 part. Now we need to tackle this bit. So when x is 3 root 3 over 2, let's look at this now. Hang on, 3 over 2 tan theta. So now we need to know what theta is here. We need to know this theta. So times both sides by 2, that will then give you this. Divide both sides by 3, that will then give you this. And then now we want to know what theta is, because we are living in the theta world here. So inverse tan equally to both sides, theta will be pi over 3. Okay, and the reason why we know this is that you're supposed to know that that because this is quite common, tan theta equals root 3. You're supposed to know immediately that theta equals pi over 3, because this is quite common. You will meet it quite a lot. So once you see this, you're supposed to know that theta equals pi over 3. So this thing here, when you translate it into the theta world, is supposed to be pi over 3, and this thing here, translated into the theta world, this would be 0. Okay, so this whole thing here will then become this. So now this is our appropriate interval here, from 0 to pi over 3. That's the equivalent of x being from 0 to here. Okay, so now it's just a matter of evaluating this. So rewrite sine to the power of 3 as sine squared times sine theta. Okay, and then now let me think. Oh yeah, and then sine squared theta you can rewrite as this, because 1 equals cos squared theta plus sine squared theta. So you can rewrite this as this. Okay, now make another substitution. So from here make another substitution. So let's u equals cos theta. If u equals cos theta, then du equals this thing, and then d theta equals this thing here. So now we can put this into here, into here, and then later on this sign here will cancel out with this. But let's leave that to later. So now u equal, well, you can put this into here. So this here will be u squared, and then put this into here, and then this thing here will also be u squared, and then we also need to make our, well, basically this whole thing here will then become this, okay? But then so the two signs here will cancel out, but then we will also need to make our adjustment. We are currently here at the moment, and then we made this substitution. So now we are working in terms of u now. We are integrating with respect to u. So we need to make this adjustment. So at the moment, we are integrating. At the moment, theta is moving from 0 to here. So now that we are now in the u world, because we made this substitution here, so hang on. So theta, we are integrating with respect to theta. So theta is moving from 0 to pi over 3. But then once we've made our substitution, which is this bit here, we are then living in the u world. We are living in the u world. So we need to know what that is from here to here. Okay, so this is our theta world. We are integrating from 0 to here. But then we would need to make the adjustment. We would need to make the adjustment, this to this. Okay, so to make the adjustment, let's look at this here. To make the adjustment, at the moment we've got this u equals this thing here. So inverse cos equally to both sides. So inverse cos equally to both sides. That would be inverse cos of u equals theta. Now looking at this, we are in the theta world. So we will need to do it from 0 to here. But let's look at 0 first. So 0 here. So now we need to translate this into the u world here. Okay. So here you would cos equally to both sides. So that would then u will equal 1. So this thing here will be 1. Okay. So now we need to translate this now. What would this become in our u world? In our u world. So looking back at this, let's get theta on its own first. So inverse cos u equals theta. But in our theta world, this thing here, well, let's put this into here. So that would be pi over 3. So now cos equally to both sides. So u equals cos pi over 3, which happens to be a half. Okay, so this thing here in the theta world it's pi over 3, but in the u world it will be a half. Okay, because if you cos pi over 3, it will give you a half. So this whole thing here will then become this. And notice that we made our adjustment here from 1 to a half. And then now it's just a matter of evaluating that. If you evaluate it, it will then give you this. Okay, so this here is your final answer.